Welcome back to the Beyond Good and Evil playthrough. Notice how enthusiastic I am compared to Sonic Unleashed, and yet this is probably going to get half the views.
Son of a bitch.
But
The irony of it all.
Friggin' Sonic.
I'm pretty sure I've cleared out everything that I can get in the orphanage. There isn't a whole lot. There's nothing. There's no one area in this game that will hold you up for any length of time. It's actually a pretty short game. That, assuming you do everything right. Let's take a picture of a page here. You can't really tell it's a pig man, but it counts as far as the computer is concerned. Yeah.
I know I'm asking a klepto here, but how long was your first playthrough, if you don't mind me asking?
Only a little bit longer than my second playthrough when I knew where everything was. But, to be fair, I did use a guide to find where some of the things were. Like, I looked, like, when I talked to an NPC and they talked about a volcano treasure, so I figured, I'll spoil it, and I went online and I looked up what the volcano treasure actually was. It was much later in the game. But, you don't, this game isn't very open. There's usually, a prescribed time and place to get everything. It casts a convincing illusion of being more open than it is, but it's not really. Anyway, let's look at this disc that someone sent us, because emails are apparently too advanced for this planet. They have to send discs with messages on them.
Okay, that's the bad guy. That's
No.
No. Ah, damn it!
No.
With the mustache like that, he should be the bad guy.
He's missing the accompanying triangle beard.
Everybody else in this goddamn universe has a goatee. So.
Oh, this guy, Mr. DeCastellac here, has a secret, but it's not that he's the villain, and I'm not going to spoil it since you two haven't played. I want your honest-to-God reactions. I like how the license plate says 10 Zat, by the way. What the fuck?
I was trying to
does
read that
mean?
backwards, and I thought it said taxi, like, backwards. I was like, is he a cab driver?
Anyway. Yep, and this is going to be...
Damn it, speak English!
This is our first mission. We're not really into the main plot yet, so we're just going to take this job because we need money. Yeah, and this kind of makes Jade immediately relatable, because she's not Cloud Strife bursting onto the scene, blowing up a Mako reactor to save the world. Like, she's a freelance reporter, and she's going to make her living.
Taking pictures of Spider-Man, brah.
It's just a very easy character to get behind.
Okay, it's working. We are once again connected with
Very down-to-earth design with Jade.
Yeah.
Green jacket, jeans.
The green lips always kind of weirded me out, though. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of like what, but that's a nitpick.
Alien world.
That's a nitpick. So I'm not gonna bitch about it. But it was always just one of those what kind of things for me.
At least the
So-
map is nicely readable and functional.
Yeah. Oh, pick up this stuff off the table. It doesn't look like it at first, but these are actually items that you can get. There are specific items and specific upgrades for the Hovercraft, and you want to pick this one up, because this is what repairs your health, I believe. Your vehicle health, rather.
That's some good wrench.
It's a mug of wrench.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. I like the Hovercraft. As far I actually wouldn't have minded if this game had a more significant sailing around element than it eventually did, because the Hovercraft just controls so goddamn nice. Well, not for this first segment because it's broken down and we need to. Our first objective is going to get to the goddamn auto shop, but the Hovercraft itself controls really well, and unfortunately, the stuff you do with it isn't usually all that engaging. There are a couple racetrack areas, kind of like really simplistic versions of what you do with the Batmobile in Arkham Knight, 15 years later, but, yeah.
Jade reporting and company needs to fill its piggy bank.
Piggyback, yeah, because, our mascot is a pig man.
Hey, that's racist. So we're giving it power.
Basically
We're
giving
boosting
it a jump start, yeah.
That's one hell of a jump start.
Is there no space AAA?
What are the space jumper cables?
It's slightly awkward taking off from any given dock because there's no transition directly into the sailing element. you're stuck in this very brief fixed camera perspective where your character's jumped into the boat and then you have to steer it away from the dock to get the free camera again. So you're invariably going to start bumping into things the moment you sail away from the dock, and then you get the free camera and everything is roses again.
I would say this early on visually, I'm reminded of Jack and Daxter for some odd reason.
It does have a similar visual style, aesthetic. It certainly doesn't help that Jade sort of has a passing resemblance to Kira, but yeah. Early 2003, games could pull off cartoony graphics a lot better than they could pull off that realistic bullshit that Warrior Within and Two Thrones did. Ubisoft, why did you do that? Worst decision ever.
Because realism, and also...
I'm sure they're losing their sleep in their pile of money.
Oh, it's like, graphically, the only Prince of Persia game that aged well is the first one. Sands of Time. The first 3D one. Technically the second 3D one, but no one likes to remember that Prince of Persia 3D is a thing. No,
Well,
I'm not recording it.
Not necessarily Ubisoft, but I think games like Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 still hold up.
Well, yeah.
Well, 3 more than 2, yeah.
The 3
Yeah.
more than 2, but
Yeah,
2
but
looks pretty good.
you say that, but they didn't go for a realistic style.
Close enough, in my opinion.
Oh, well...
The only thing that
more
bothers
so
me about
for-
the only thing that bothers me about Metal Gear Solid 2 that they sort of removed from 3, thankfully, is that they still kind of looks like wax figures.
Somewhat, yeah.
It's the cheekbones.
It's they tried going more for that slightly anime style that like Devil May Cry 4 has, where everything's realistic proportions, yeah, but not so much photorealism in the textures department.
Which I chalk up to a limited technology at the time.
Are these rhinos
wait.
supposed to be a Jamaican stereotype?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just, okay.
Okay, yeah, our hovercraft and spaceship are going to be repaired by Jamaican rhinoceroses. Jamaican rhinoceros people. How many games have Jamaican rhinoceros people in them? Not many.
Oh, their door's even the Jamaican flag, or a facsimile? Is that what the word is supposed to be thereof? There's the same colors, I know that.
Something along those lines. Anyway, most of the items that you buy in this game are actually going to come from vending machines. You want to get this Mecha Impulsor here, because it actually increases your vehicle health. Yeah, your vehicle has its own health upgrades.
And you buy them in vending machines?
Yeah. Well, this vending machine makes sense because it's smack in the auto shop where you buy all the other vehicle stuff.
Oh yeah, the last nacho.
But yeah, you're quite often going to find vending machines with health power-ups and sometimes heart containers mid-mission in the dungeons. So you want to keep your eye out for that, and whenever you save your money for the really good items. Although, honestly, I went through this game at a pretty good clip, and I always had enough money to clear out every vending machine when I got to it.
Oh, you're that jackass that takes the last pack of Skittles. Damn it.
Well, the other guy right behind you was looking forward to that.
Yeah, the purple food is something that you want to get every time that you find it because that's the full heal. The nachos are just 1 heart. And at this point in the game, the nachos are fine, but
No wonder that these guys can't pay their rent. That Jade goes out and raids every single vending machine in the goddamn zip code.
God damn it, Jane, you blew it all on nachos again.
I'm sorry, Paige. I can't control my cravings.
The nachos are so good.
hey, I need the nacho power to do my magical journalist stuff. You know? It's a vital expense, I swear. Anyway, the moment you leave the Mama Go garage, another Doms comes down. I don't know why I said Dodge, and the moment
That's what you should be doing.
The moment I said Dodge, no, I didn't even think of Dodge as in dodging out of the way or Dodge as in the city. I thought of Dodge as in that kid from Final Fantasy 13.
So I love how when, like a true reporter, your first instinct when something bad happens isn't to go and help these people, it's to go take pictures.
Yeah, take pictures of them in peril.
Yeah. Well, you do need to take a picture of this guy now, otherwise you need to find a skeleton of him, just hidden away in an alcove.
And that's not nearly as good for business.
Yeah,
No.
that's the only way to take a picture of him if you don't manage to take one during the 2 fights against it. Anyway, this is not a very engaging boss fight, quote-unquote. You just sort of follow behind him, spam firing your weapons, and pieces of him fly off.
It's kind of like a precursor to the Lago boss fight in Resident Evil 4. Only, you know, with lasers, and you're chasing him down.
No.
And he runs into a wall.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah, it really was. Very easy.
Hey, Paige, a new
Anyway, we get ourselves a pearl, very conveniently. It stayed above the water.
Let's grab that pearl. Hold on, let me get a picture of it first.
At the beginning of the game, you get 1 pearl, and you're like, oh yeah, this is a victory. Halfway through the game, you get 5 pearls in 1 mission. And it's like, okay, where were these payouts 10 hours ago?
You get spoiled.
Oh, what am I saying, 10 hours? This game barely pushes 8.
Ooh, okay.
Even
so
if
that
you're
answers
going
my
for
question.
100%. Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
Yeah, this is another one of my magic number playthroughs that just ends on 19 parts exactly.
It's a curse.
Although if I hadn't cut out most of the credits, it would have gone to 21.
Wait,
What?
they're that long?
The credits are ridiculously long. I cut
Are
out
we
most of the
talking
credits.
Sonic Colors? Scott Pilgrim vs. the World? Batman Arkham
No,
Origins?
the longest video game credits I've ever seen, and not because of the volume of names, but because of how slowly the names go across. Okay,
So Sonic Colors.
Well, that's not.
Yeah,
That's a common. That honestly, that's a common Ubisoft thing because Rayman Origins has like a 20-minute long credit sequence.
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you know how at the beginning of a movie, you'll see like one name at a time?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the movie, you might see the same thing, but then it'll go into the regular credits roll where it's a bajillion names in really small print. Well, the credits at the end of this game never get to that step.
So wait, these intergalactic species know Jesus.
I don't know.
No, it's like Paige just said sweet Jesus. So what is Jesus in the context of Beyond Good and Evil?
Oh no,
Well,
he's just like the normal Jesus. Instead of being like a human, he's an octopus.
Well, here's the thing. We have humans, and we have these animal people, but Beyond Good and Evil has never done any serious world building beyond this planet. We don't know what the actual layout of the universe is. The only thing that we see in this game is Hillies, this one planet. More specifically, this one city area, and the surrounding pond of water on this one planet.
So can I ask, without spoiling anything, is this Earth?
No, this is Hillies. The planet is called Hillies.
Hillies, okay.
And there is an intergalactic society and an intergalactic military, and we're being invaded by aliens that are taking over planet after planet. And the Alpha sections are apparently, you know, the interplanetary military force of the humans. But we don't find out anything beyond that in this game. And, you know, it would be great to find out all of that, but I assume that would have been the subject of the sequel. You know, because...
So as far as we're aware, there's no Earth, or our solar system for that matter.
I have no idea.
Well, it might
Okay,
be
so-
there, but it's
No
not
idea.
relevant. And to be honest,
It's not relevant.
To be honest, I'm okay with that. Like, you know, a lot of sci-fi,
Oh, yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
sci-fi stories, you know, try to shove in as many different planets and areas as possible, and that makes sense. But like, you know, to be perfectly honest, like a sci-fi story that focuses on one civilization or just one area, that area gets the chance to become a lot more well developed, and I'm totally down with that. So
Yeah. I just throw for a loop when the guy references Jesus. I was like, okay, well, in the context of the universe, who is Jesus in their world?
Yeah, and the answer is we don't know yet. But anyway, these are just optional side quests that I'm knocking out right now because they're like literally right next to the Mamago garage. There are 2 different caves that you can go in here. One of them was one of the 4 looters caves, and those are where you do where you do the races. This other one is the Vorax lair, which we can't actually enter yet, but I'm going in anyway because there's stuff right outside the entrance to pick up. Also a photograph to take, but stuff right outside the entrance.
There you go. That's the real reason.
Well, the photograph gets us money, but the real reason is inside this metal box off to the side. And it's actually worth taking a few seconds to go get it, because I think it's a health power-up. A heart container. It's been so long since I played this game that I don't remember exactly what is where, but I do remember where I went to get something. And yeah, we have ourselves a heart container and 2 boosters for our hovercraft. So, you know, it's a good haul. But you can't actually get in here yet. There's also a save point, so a place to save. But we can't get in here until we find a tool in the first dungeon.
Oh, is it? I
Uh,
guess that might be the where the Zelda connections come from, where you find the tool in the dungeon that allows you to go to the next dungeon and so on and so forth.
Not really. Honestly, the only dungeon in the game that really feels like a Zelda dungeon is the first one, because the other ones have such a high emphasis on stealth. It's more like most of the game feels like only as Zelda as the first Wind Waker dungeon, where you're hiding from all the soldiers by, ducking in barrels.
Good times.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just sort of takes that thread and runs with it for 3 dungeons. There are only 4 dungeons in the game, if memory serves. I'm not counting the end of the game, because the end of the game is frankly kind of a disappointment gameplay-wise. And I'll get to that when I get to it. But before we actually go to the first real dungeon, we're going to take a quick run through town. And I'm not sure if I actually stop in town, but you have to pass through it the first time. The town itself is a very small area off to the side of this area. This is just sort of a water highway that you pass through on your way to places. And there are actually a few things to pick up in this area, but you can't get to any of them here. So...
Page, turn around. I want to take a picture of it.
Yeah. So, just passing through that area and heading to the first dungeon. But that will be next part, unfortunately.
So it's not a hub world in any sense. It's just the road you pass.
Yeah, it's just the town in the center of the area. Our first dungeon is this island here that we need to sail into the tunnel. Oh, also make sure you take a picture of the fish, because they're hard to get a picture of.
Were those the things you were passing by earlier?
Yeah. Also, the news that the news in this world apparently has to deal with Twitter character limits for all their articles.
Society's really gone downhill.
Yappity, yappity, yap. People don't have those kind of attention spans anymore.